Yikes. You know what? I just realized we haven't covered one of the most well-known, longest-running resort properties in all of Central Oregon. We haven't talked about Eagle Crest. So stick around. This one's going to be awesome. Okay, well, excuse me, because I was working on a script for a video on all Central Oregon resorts, and I paused when I got to Eagle Crest because A, there's a lot to love here about Eagle Crest, and B, I don't know that we've ever talked about it before. In fact, I've never done a video on Eagle Crest, so we're gonna fix that. Eagle Crest is located on the western side of Redmond, about 6 miles outside of Redmond, nestled in between the Deschutes River and Cline Butte. Eagle Crest began housing construction in 1985, and the lodge here was finished in 1989. And even though that was 35 years ago, there is still new construction happening here in Eagle Crest to this day. Basically because, you know, there's some lots that have been sold that have just been sitting and holding for years and years that are now finally being developed on, but you know, we'll get to all the construction and the home part of that later on in the video. The lodge features 100 rooms for nightly rentals, as well as more than 80 other condos that can be rented out as well. I actually think it's more closer to like 100. And then there are loads of other personal Airbnbs spread out throughout the entire property of the development, which basically means that there are lots and lots of people coming and going from Eagle Crest, at least on a nightly basis. In fact, one estimate that I saw that there was over 220 individual privately owned Airbnbs here in the development. Now, Eagle Crest is actually a census designated place. It's not a city per se, but you know, it's big enough to have to kind of be counted on its own, right? So back at the 2020 census, the population of Eagle Crest was 2,761, I believe. And however, the latest results that we've seen, if you just kind of throw it up on Google, are at 2,973 people that reside here in Eagle Crest. Now, that's crazy. That's huge. That's actually like the city of Sisters itself. So I had no idea that there was that many people here, but I guess it actually doesn't come as that much as a surprise because there's over 1,800 homes here. Back to the lodge, there are amenities right here on the lodge side. Pools, tennis courts, restaurants, and convention halls. That's actually something I wasn't exactly aware of. They've got convention space here. Now there really are a lot of things to do here in Eagle Crest, and so let's start with golf. Eagle Crest is home to 3 courses. There are 2 normal championship style courses that are, you know, par 72s, and then there's 1 course that's actually a challenge course. It's a par 63 you know, length course, which is pretty interesting. It's actually, apparently it's pretty tough, and it's named as one of the top 25 short courses in the country, which is just crazy to me. I mean, I don't know that there are many courses that are not full 72 courses. Whatever. I'm not really a super golf geek. I just know that, you know, I just know how to swing a club every once in a while. The Ridge course is on the western side of the property and is actually set amongst the junipers and is known as a driver's dream. I can only assume that because of the nice, wide, forgiving fairways, which might mean that it's a perfect course for me because I'm terrible with a driver. In fact, now that I think about it, that short course is probably for me because we don't do the drivers. I'm irons all day. I got my short game dialed. The resort course is obviously set on the east resort side of the property and is great for all abilities. I tell you what, if the 3 courses here aren't enough, they also have a full like 18-hole putting course, which is kind of cool. I don't think I've seen a full putting course before. There is also the driving range. That's pretty standard. And then I'll tell you one last thing that's really interesting is because of the elevation and the location of this particular resort, it's just a little bit warmer here in this particular little microclimate of Central Oregon. So these courses stay open throughout the winter far more than all of the other Central Oregon courses. And in fact, I do believe that the short course is open year round, which is really cool. Okay, aside from golf, there are plenty of other things to do here. In fact, there's quite a bit more than I even thought, really. I mean, I've seen a pool, I've seen a sports center, I've seen tennis courts, but no, there are like multiple pools, tons of tennis courts, all kinds of stuff. Check this out. There are 5 pools, including outdoor pools, indoor pools, lap pools, infinity edge pools, kids splash pads. There are spas and hot tubs. There are other kinds of spas like manis, pedis, and massages kind of spas. You know, like a full-on resort spa. There are 3 indoor sports centers with basketball courts and pickleball courts and racquetball courts, full fitness gyms, including fitness classes like yoga and Zumba and stuff like that. Then there's outdoor recreation. There's basketball courts, tennis courts, pickleball courts. There are miles of walking and hiking trails, over 11 miles of paved trails throughout the resort here, and access to hundreds of hiking trails, including trails right along the Deschutes River. And then of course there are all of the other local recreational opportunities and activities as well, just because you're here in Central Oregon. I mean, you can go whitewater rafting in the summer, you can go to Mount Bachelor in the winter, and Eagle Crest actually has partnerships with some organizations that'll help you accommodate that very, very easily. There's also a small commercial section over on the east side of the resort near the lodge that has, dining options. There's kind of, a small marketplace. There's all kinds of stuff over there. There's a chiropractor over there in case you don't want to make the trek all the way back into Redmond. Wait, full stop. I was curious. It's only 6 miles to Tumalo. And if you're not really feeling the food options of Redmond, Tumalo has some really fantastic options. You could just zip on down here and, go to the Bite. Because it's awesome. It's a food truck lot and it's damn good. Okay, as nice as all that sounds, we're not exactly pitching nightly stays here. I'm pretty sure you want to live in Eagle Crest, and that's what we're here to talk about. But before we do, you gotta do the thing, you gotta subscribe to the channel, right? I think you're gonna love it. We talk about all things from recreation real estate, so go ahead and hit the little subscribe button. All right, let's get to the real estate. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I've stayed out here, I've played out here, I've shown tons of homes out here, I've sold property out here, and it's still kind of confusing. There are HOAs within HOAs, and information is a little hard to find on each particular neighborhood. I typically like to give a little bit more detailed information on the neighborhoods when we do these kind of things, but there are 12 different neighborhoods in here, and each one of them is different, like vastly different, and they all have their own HOAs, their own different things, so just bear with me. Some of the neighborhoods are gated, and some are not. Some of the neighborhoods are nothing but townhouses and condos. Some of the hoods are standalones, like AKA single family residences detached, right? But all the homes look exactly the same. They're just carbon copies of each other, and it's a very, kind of homogenized neighborhood. Some of the homes are high-end, very unique spec homes, and some are fully custom luxury homes. Some you can Airbnb and some you can't. It would take me an hour to go through all the little nuances of the neighborhoods here in Eagle Crest. But just know that there were 3 phases of development. The first was when they built the lodge back in the 80s. There were homes over there on the easternmost side of the resort. Then Oregon state rule changes allowed for phase 2 to begin in 1993. That is the Ridge, and it's kind of where the majority of the homes, well, not really the majority, but a good portion of the homes are located. But certainly not all of them, because then again in 2001, the third phase, called the West Ridge, began development. Here's what's wild, is that the third phase of Eagle Crest is a mile across this BLM land. So like there's this massive tract of BLM land, Eagle Crest kind of stops, and then a mile later across this windy road, Eagle Crest begins again. It's called the West Ridge. Also, I happen to really love the West Ridge side of Eagle Crest. I mean, the views are spectacular. The ambiance over here is so nice with the babbling brooks and the ponds and all of the amenities we have over here. Not to mention, because this particular area is just a little bit newer, the homes are a little bit newer, a little bit more updated, and just feel a little nicer as well. Now, one thing that I should probably mention as far as the neighborhoods go here is the falls. Now, it's funny to me that being in such a well-appointed area for, kind of retiring as Central Oregon is, there are not many 55 and over communities, yet that's exactly what the Falls is. It's a particular neighborhood here that is designated only for 55 plus residents. It's a very active community. It comes with all the bells and whistles. It's got its own HOA. It's got its own clubhouse, and its own sense of community. Now with 203 lots designated in this particular neighborhood, there's plenty of homes there, but if you were looking for one, they can be hard to find. They don't come up very often, but it's definitely a great option if that's something that you're looking for. Okay, phew, I think that's it. I think I covered everything. Let me know, did I miss anything? Let's see. The holiday lights around Christmas time, you should probably come and check out. It's pretty cool. They got a little holiday tour. You can go check out all the Christmas lights. That happens over on the east side. Yeah, gosh, I think that's it. Let's go ahead and call it here because this video has been rambling on long enough about Eagle Crest. Remember, you know the drill. If you are thinking about buying or selling here in the area, my team and I would love to be your local real estate resource of choice. Yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you over in the next video.